Something unbelievable has just happened. A sealed document hidden deep within the Vatican has been opened, and what's inside? A message that has shaken the hearts of many. Pope Leo XIV has decided to release this powerful document to the world. And its content is unlike anything we've heard in recent years. It speaks about the final judgment. It talks about the state of the world. It even raises the question of whether we are heading toward what some are calling the second apocalypse. This is not fiction. This is not a rumor. This is real. And it's coming straight from the highest office in the Catholic Church. The document was sealed for decades, some say even centuries, and was only to be opened when the Church believed the time was right. Now, Pope Leo has declared that the time is right, so why now? Why release it in 2025? And what exactly does it say? Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to hear may change the way you look at the world, your life, and what comes next. Let's start with what this sealed document really is. This document was kept in the Vatican Archives, a highly protected place where only a few people are ever allowed to enter. For years it was labeled simply as Judicium Ultimum, which is Latin for the final judgment. Many church leaders knew of its existence but avoided talking about it in public. Some said it was written by a pope from the past, while others believed it was a message given through a divine vision. Now, Pope Leo XIV has read it, studied it, and shared it. And he didn't do it lightly. In fact, before releasing it, he called for days of fasting, deep prayer, and silence. That alone shows how serious this moment is. When the document was finally read publicly, it sent shockwaves through the church. Why? Because it didn't speak about the end of the world like a dramatic movie. Instead, it gave a clear, honest, and painful reflection of where humanity stands right now. It talked about war, about hatred, about confusion, about people forgetting the truth of God. The document begins with these chilling words: "The hour will come when truth is no longer welcomed, when the name of God will be used but not followed. The world will celebrate lies, and when this time comes, the voice of heaven will call once again, 'Prepare yourselves, for the King is near.'" Many in the Vatican said they had never heard such direct language from any church document. In modern times, it didn't try to comfort, it tried to awaken. Pope Leo XIV, standing before thousands at St. Peter's Basilica, looked visibly moved as he read parts of the message aloud. He paused often, letting the words sink in. One of the parts that struck people deeply was this line: "The earth has been given signs. Storms have spoken, fires have warned, the soil cries out. But the people do not listen. Even now, the final trumpet waits for the breath of the judge." Some people called it terrifying. Others called it necessary, but no one could ignore it. So, does this mean the end of the world is near? Is this the second apocalypse? Pope Leo was careful in his answer. He did not say the world is ending tomorrow. But he did say this: we are entering the most serious moment in human history. We are not facing simply a political crisis or a cultural change. We are standing before a spiritual turning point, and the next move is not just for leaders. It is for every soul. That one sentence stopped many in their tracks. He explained that this document is not about panic. It's not meant to bring fear, it's meant to bring clarity. A wake-up call? A reminder that the choices we make today affect eternity. One of the most powerful sections talks about the silence of good people. The final judgment will ask, not only what evil was done, but what good was left undone. Not only who spread lies, but who remained silent while truth was attacked. These words, Pope Leo said, are especially important for our time. In an age where many stay quiet out of fear of rejection, the document reminds us that silence in the face of evil is also a choice. He then turned to speak directly to young people, saying, "You were born for this hour. Do not be afraid of the storm. Be the voice that sings in it. Be the light that refuses to go out." It was clear that Pope Leo was not just reading history, he was stepping into prophecy. So what are the signs mentioned in the document? Are we seeing them now? Yes, the document speaks of great divisions, global confusion, and the loss of truth. It mentions that families will struggle, nations will argue, and the very idea of good and evil will be questioned. If that sounds like what we see around us today, you're not alone in thinking that. The Pope pointed out that we're not only facing wars and disasters, we're facing a deeper problem, people forgetting who they are, forgetting they are made in the image of God, forgetting they are called to love, serve, and protect one another. The sealed message also speaks of a coming test, a test for the Church and a test for each believer. It warns that many will leave the faith, that churches will empty, and that the message of Jesus will be called outdated and harmful. But it also says something else, something deeply hopeful. In the darkest hour, the smallest candle will shine the brightest. And even if the world forgets his name, he remembers each soul by heart. Pope Leo made it clear, the message is not a curse. It's a call to return. And then, with deep emotion, he shared what he called the key to understanding the document. It's found near the end of the message. The final judgment is not the moment of God's anger. It is the moment of his justice. But even more, it is the moment of his truth. For what is hidden will be revealed, and what is broken will be healed or lost forever. This brought many in the audience to tears, because it reminded them that final judgment is not about destruction, it's about truth. It's about standing before the one who knows us fully and still offers mercy. Pope Leo then gave a challenge. He asked every Catholic, every Christian, and even every person of goodwill to do three things: return to prayer, return to truth, return to love. He didn't ask for great actions or dramatic gestures, he asked for hearts. He asked for us to stop running and start listening. He warned that the time for comfort has passed. Now is the time for courage. And then he ended his message with a final reading from the sealed document. The Son of Man will return not to find a perfect world but a faithful heart, not to destroy but to fulfill. And blessed are those who are found watching when the Master knocks. The crowd at the Vatican stood in silence. Many wept. Some dropped to their knees. The weight of the moment was clear. So now the question comes to us. What do we do with this message? Some may laugh at it. Some may ignore it. Some may fear it. But there are those, maybe you feel something stirring in their soul, something saying, this matters. Pope Leo has reminded the world of something we often forget. This life is not forever. We are not promised tomorrow, but we are given today. And today is enough to begin again. This sealed document is now open. The words are no longer hidden. The truth is before us. The final judgment may not be here yet, but the time to prepare will we return to God while there's still time? Will we wake up before it's too late? Will we choose light in a world rushing into darkness? The door is still open, but it will not stay open forever. The final war was a night no one will ever forget. Thousands had gathered inside St. Peter's Basilica. The air was filled with the quiet sound of prayers. It was the holy night of midnight mass, a tradition celebrated every year. But this year something unexpected happened. Something no one saw coming. Pope Leo XIV, dressed in simple white robes, walked down the long aisle of the basilica. The cameras were on. The world was watching. People expected a powerful homily, maybe a message about peace or faith. But what happened next left everyone stunned and many in tears. He didn't begin with a prayer. He didn't begin with a reading. He began with silence. A long, heavy silence. For over 2 minutes, Pope Leo stood at the altar without saying a single word. His head was bowed. His eyes were closed. People looked at each other, unsure of what was happening. Some thought it was a mistake. Others felt something deeper. And then he spoke, not with loud words, not with a dramatic voice, but with the quiet tone of someone carrying a heavy burden. "Tonight I have no sermon to give," he said. "Tonight I only have a question to ask the world." A question? People leaned in. Everyone held their breath. "Where is your heart?" That was it. The question repeated again. "Where is your heart?" He explained that we are living in times where people have everything but feel nothing, where technology is growing but love is shrinking, where people speak more but listen less. And then he said something that broke the silence of every soul in the room. We cannot celebrate the birth of Christ if we have locked him out of our hearts.